Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha, Rakak, Wadash, Mama. Double honors to the elders of GMS. Salutations to the Sensei Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Karabban Yasharala coming out of the Lion's Den camp. And now today I'll be coming out with a little lesson. The title of this lesson is Be Mindful of Women. You got to be mindful of these women. Because, as I've heard, some other brothers go through their videos. Sometimes when a woman giving you play, it might not necessarily be the Lord sending that woman to you. It could be Satan sending that woman over to you to try to throw you off. Try to get you to not focus on Yahweh Shai, to not focus on studying and doing different things of the sort. But the main part of this is to be mindful. It means just to pay attention to these women. You got to pay attention to them, because if you don't pay attention to them, they can cause you to fall, quite literally. As I'm going to bring out some accounts, but without further ado, I'm going to get right into the scriptures and let them speak for themselves. This is 1 Kings. I'm going to start at chapter 11. It says, "But Solomon loved many strange women together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites." That strange women meaning Solomon loved and liked the women of other nations, as well as the women of his own nation. But that's what that means by strange women. He just in today's time, and I'm gonna word it in today's time, he liked it the Japanese woman, he liked it the Chinese woman, the so-called white woman, so forth and so forth and so forth. But King Solomon loved many strange women together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites. That just means Solomon liked it many different nationalities of women. Continuing. "Of the nations concerning which the Lord Yahweh said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, Salakia, neither shall they come in unto you, for they will surely turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave to these in love." Now, this was a commandment. This was a judgment or order given from the Most High to the children of Israel, not to mingle with these other nations, not to allow them to come in at that time. This was a Salakia. This was a thing that Solomon did. He claved unto these strange women, i.e., these Gentile women, the natural Gentile women. The foreigners out, the strangers outside of Israel, not the spiritual Gentiles, but the physical Gentiles. He clave unto these women in love, meaning he loved these women of the other nations. And in that, being caught up or being focused on these other women, it caused him to fall. But I ain't gonna jump too far ahead of myself. I'm gonna keep going. This is verse 3. "And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart." See, Solomon had many women, and him not being mindful of these many women, the strange women that he loved so much, the Gentile women, these women of other nations, they caused him to turn away from Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, the one true power that he was serving and that he was established in. They caused this to happen. Again, it says for it, again. "And he had 700 wives," meaning Solomon had 700 wives of the women of Israel. So he had the women of his nation, the women of our nation, Israel. So he had 700 wives of them. But he had 300 concubines. 300 concubines was the women of the other nations. But it was these women of the other nations that caused him to go to err from the faith, to err according to the Heavenly Father. That's why I said you got to be mindful of these women. We have to pay attention to them. We always got to be on watch, because as I said before, it might not necessarily be the Most High throwing you a bone. It could be Satan having his hand in that, and that woman can purely be there for a mere distraction, or to get you thrown off, or to cause you to fall out. But continuing, I'm going to read it one more time. "And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart." See, his wives, these women, turned away his heart from the Most High. Continuing, verse 4. "For it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods. And his heart was not perfect with the Lord Yahweh, his God, as was the heart of David, his father. See, these women turned away his heart to serve after these other false gods, meaning he put too much into these women. And that caused him in his later years to lose focus and to veer off from his one true living power, which was Yahweh. His heart was no longer on the Heavenly Father as his father's David's heart was. And even David, he allowed a woman to cause him to fall, but he repented. But continue, that's another story. I'm gonna stick to my topic. Verse 5. For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. See, in his old age, these women caused him to err. Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Sidonians. Ashtaroth is a goddess of fertility. They use that. That's the goddess of Easter, Easter and Easter egg and all that other stuff. But he started to go after these women's false gods, and after the false god Milcom, that was the abomination of the Ammonites. So you have to be mindful of these women. You gotta pay attention. You can't just you gotta pay attention. I'm telling you to pay attention. This is what I'm saying. Through the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Be mindful. Pay attention. Stay focused. Verse 6. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord Yahweh, and went not fully after the Lord Yahweh, as did his father David. See, him inclining and even not being mindful, eventually he started to lean and incline over to these other gods of these other nations, these other strange women. And in that caused him to do evil in the sight of the Heavenly Father. That caused him to be impudent, disrespectful in the eyes of the Heavenly Father, and his heart went not fully after Yahweh as his father David had went. Verse 7. Then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. See, Solomon wasn't being mindful. He was not being vigilant, and he started to incline unto these women. And in the inclination of these women, he started to build high places for these false gods, for these women, these strange women of the other nations. Verse 8. And likewise he did for all his strange wives. See, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their God. See, likewise, he did these for the strange women of his nation. He didn't do this for the women of Israel that he was married to, which was 700 wives. Them 300 concubines were those other nations, those women of other nations, such as Ammon, Amorites, Edomites, the Zidonians, and the Moabites. He started to build altars and temples for these false gods, these women's false gods, and these women, they sacrifice unto these gods daily. They praise these gods daily. Verse 9. And the Lord Yahweh was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord Yahweh, God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. See, and in this thing that Solomon did, this caused the Lord to be angry with him, because his heart was turned from the Most High and turned unto these women and their false gods, even after the Lord had appeared to Solomon twice. So you have to be mindful of these women. It's just that simple. You got to pay attention. One up in your face talking to you, it's a great probability and chance she got a man somewhere at home, or she flunking around on this man. So you got to pay attention, because if you start to incline unto these women, you could cause the Heavenly Father to become angry with you. You could become impudent, which is disrespectful. That can cause you to turn away from the Heavenly Father. It can cause you to walk off the path of truth and walk into the ways of error and sin. So you got to be mindful. You got to pay attention. Continuing. And had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which the Lord Yahweh commanded. And see, the Heavenly Father appeared unto him twice, meaning he basically gave him straight charge 2 times. And commanded Solomon that, hey, you do not go after these other gods. Do not do this. You know. But Solomon did not keep that commandment, because it is in the Lord's commandments, thou shalt have no other gods before me. You should not worship false gods and deities or false images. You should not do that. So the Lord said he would not share his glory. Verse 11. Wherefore the Lord Yahweh said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes which I commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee and give it to thy servant. See, because Solomon was disobedient to the Heavenly Father, because he inclined unto these women, meaning he gave too much to these women. His heart inclined unto these strange women. I'm going to clear that up. These strange women, the women of the other nations. He inclined unto them, and for that, the Heavenly Father rend the kingdom from him. The Heavenly Father ripped the kingdom from him. He took the kingdom from him. He set Solomon up, and down the line, Solomon went off. And the Lord took the kingdom from him and gave it to his servant. And gave it unto his son. Verse 12. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. See, he didn't say, the Lord didn't say, I'm going to do it for David's sake, but I'm going to do it because you was disobedient to me. That's why I'm going to take the kingdom from you. Why? Because he gave too much to these women. It's just what it is. You can't incline too much to these women. You can't. It's in the scriptures. You give them time, yes. And after that, okay, you get back to what you was doing. You get back focused on the Most High. You stay focused on him. So you got to be mindful of these women. That's just what it is. You got to be mindful. You got to pay attention. You got to have a target sight. You got to have a hawkeye. Watching. Continue. Verse 13. It says, howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son, for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. So the Lord was saying, okay, I'm not going to take all the kingdom away from you. I'm going to give a portion, you know what I'm saying, for your father's David, my servant's sake. I'm going to give a portion of the kingdom to them, to Israel, whom I have chosen. So you got to be mindful of these women. Got to pay attention, because everyone giving you play might not be sent, might not be a bone that's thrown to you from the Most High. It might be Satan to set you up for a fall. Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Verse 26. It says, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. See, this is Ecclesiastes. This was also Solomon speaking. He was saying, I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets. When you get with a woman, she always got a plan like, oh, what we gonna do? She's like the Zaquan, the elder McCamp. He says women are like a womb. They are meant to hold on to stuff. So when you get with them, they got a plan of what your life is going to be, or what your life and her life is going to be together in her mind. So it says her heart is snares and nets, meaning she just, like these women be trapping these cats with these babies and different things. I'm just going to say it how it is. They use these children to trap these men. I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, her hands as bands. These cats get caught up, they get locked in and can't go nowhere. They get trapped. It's a snare. But the scriptures, but he further said in the scripture, whoso pleaseth Yahweh, pleaseth the Heavenly Father, shall escape her, but the sinner shall be taken by us. And when you pleasing the Heavenly Father, when you stand focused on Him, you're going to escape these snares. You're going to escape this stuff. You're not going to suffer these things. But a sinner, a transgressor of the law, statutes, commandments of the Heavenly Father, you're going to be taken by them same women. So you got to be mindful, and you got to stay focused on the Most High. You got to stay focused. Because this world ain't nothing but death lurking around every corner. Spiritual death, physical death. So again, you got to be mindful. Not being mindful gonna get you caught up. I don't normally do lessons about women like that, because I feel like that ain't, you know what I'm saying, that ain't, I felt like that wasn't in my, I felt like that wasn't in my repertoire, I should say, to address. Other brothers have done videos, and it's like, bam. Me, it's just like, I always kind of try to stay away from it. But the Heavenly Father put this lesson on me, so I'm gonna do it. And it is, be mindful of these women, meaning pay attention. Pay attention. Just because she giving you play, it might not be a bone from the Heavenly Father. Yeah, every once in a while, the Most High, He'll throw you a woman. Hey, here you go, yeah. You do what you gonna do with her, vibe with her, whatever. But then there's other times, it be Satan trying to get you thrown off, trying to trip you up, trying to cause you problems in your life. Straight up, man. If you get too much to these women, they will cause problems in your life. That's just what it is. That is exactly what it is. You give them too much, they're going to cause problems. But that don't mean you disrespect them. You know, a different thing, and basically be an a-hole, you know. Like, if you ain't dealing, just you ain't dealing. But don't give them too much. They can quite literally throw your focus off. I'm going to jump down to verse 28. It's of Ecclesiastes chapter 7. It says, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. Now, a total, going back to 1 King, Solomon had a total of 1,000 women. 1,000 women. He had 700 wives, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he had 1,000 women. And here in Ecclesiastes, out of it say his soul seekers, out of, you saying, one man out of 1,000 have you found. I mean, he found out of 1,000 men, he found one righteous man that's gonna stand up. But here in Ecclesiastes it says, but among all those, it said, but a woman among all those have I not found. A lot of our women are wicked. A lot of these women are wicked. Just straight up. It is what it is. Ain't no cutting no corners. Hey, if you're a woman and you watching this video, or you watch any videos and you believe in truth and sincerity, well then you keep believing in truth and sincerity. Don't flake out when times get hard. Because a test is coming. And it's called the hour of temptation. Everybody gonna be tested. The elect, the 1/3, everybody gonna be tested. 2/3 of our people gonna fail that test. But again, so you got to be mindful. There's a lot of women out here, and there's a lot of them they really ain't. It's just what it is. They just ain't. They just ain't righteous like that. It's just what it is. So you got to be careful. Now, if the Lord Himself send you a woman, you know, and y'all dealing, then you deal. You know, even if she don't believe in this truth, even if she don't incline, even if she's not a wife that has the same heart as you, you know, if y'all getting along and you ain't got too much of a problem, then you deal with her. You don't kick her to the curb because she don't believe in this, you know, because through what you're doing, if you're a man of the Lord and you're doing what the Heavenly Father says, through your actions, through your example, your leadership, that will cause her to follow. But other than that, if you just like dealing with women because you know that's something you do in your spare time, or that's something you like to do, you know, you deal with one, but you don't give her too much. And just be real. She start coming against the truth. Hey man, exit stage left. Especially if she know you do this and this is what you about. Hey man, and she start coming against it. At the exit stage left. That's just what it is. Ain't no sugarcoating. Hey, all right, I gotta get away from you. Because if I stay around you, you're gonna continue to come against this. Or come against my stance and where I stand at. So yeah, exit stage left. Quick. Don't think about it. Oh, I gotta go. That's just what it is. A lot of these women, they wicked, and they ain't gonna get on this truth. They not gonna believe. No matter what they say out their mouth. Oh yeah, nah. Whatever, you say that, but all right, yeah. It's basically like one in one end, out the other. That's how you gotta treat it. But you do have some women that believe though. But yeah, they still can cause problems. You just gonna be real with you. Might have to cuss them out there once in a while. You know. Cause they women. I don't know. That's just how it is. I don't really have too many words to say about it. Cause you know, this ain't a topic that I really touch on concerning women. But be mindful. Judges. Another account. Solomon liked the strange women. He liked the women of other nations. This is Judges chapter 14. Probably gonna get straight to the point on this one. Salakia. There we go. This is Judges chapter 14. I'm gonna just start right on off at verse 12. I'm going to read verse 1, then I'm going to jump to verse 12. Well, I'm going to read down to... Anyways, Judges chapter 14, verse 1. It says, and Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. See, right there. Samson was an Israelite. He went down to Timnath and saw a daughter of the Philistines. Philistines is one of these other heathen nations. He saw a woman, he saw a daughter, he saw a woman of the Philistines. Verse 2, continuing. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Now he say, basically he saw this woman, he probably like, man, she fine. He went home, told his father, his mother, hey, mom, dad, you know what I'm saying? I seen a woman of the Philistine, you know what I'm saying, nation. You got to go and get her because I want to wife her. I want her to be my wife. But this is what his father and his mother said to him. Then his father and his mother said unto him, is there never a woman amongst the daughter of thy brethren? Or among all my people that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, get her for me, for she pleaseth me. Now this is his father and his mother was like, okay, it's not a woman of your own nation that you like? Huh? You can't pick nobody of your own nation? Why would you want to go and take a wife of the daughters of the Philistines? Why would you want to go and take a wife, a strange woman of these other nations? But Solomon, he was like, come on, daddy, hey, come on, I gotta have baby, come on. Basically just giving you an understanding. But in that, it was the Lord putting out on Samson to do that because Samson was supposed to bring down the Philistines. Now let's jump over. I'm going to jump over to verse 12 now. I'm going to read verse 4, then jump to verse 12. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord Yahweh that he sought occasion against the Philistines. For that time, the Philistines had dominion over Israel. See, there you go right there. It was already set up by the Heavenly Father for Samson to put hell on these Philistines. That's why the Lord made Samson's heart incline unto one of the daughters of the Philistines. But his father and his mother did not know that this was the will of the Heavenly Father. Now let's jump back over. Let's jump over, I should say, to 12. All right. Now, verse 12. And this is, and Samson said unto, well, before verse 12, Samson went down with his father and his mother to Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath, and there was a lion, it was a lion roared against him. Basically it was a lion threatening to attack Samson. The Spirit of the Lord came upon Samson, and Samson grabbed it, and he ripped the lion, and he ripped the lion in half. Like, he ripped it open, and killed the lion. And then he went down, with the woman, she pleased Samson well. He got his wife or whatever. Then he went down and she pleased him well, and different things of the sort, And after a time he returned to take her, aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, he went like, hey, look, he's a lion. I killed this lion. Bim, when he went to see the lion, it was a swarm of bees in it, and there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. The carcass, the dead body of the lion. Therefore, and he took, he took of the honey, he ate some, and went to his father and mother, and then he gave some honey to his parent, and they eat, but he didn't tell them what he did. And where the honey came from. But, he went down to the woman. Samson made there a feast, as young men do at that time. And it came to pass that when they saw him, they brought 30 companions to be with him. When these other men, whoever these cats was, he brought his own, he brought 30 other cats with him, just, giving you an understanding. But to the point. Verse 12. It says, and Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If you can certainly declare it me within 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then will I give you 30 sheets and 30 changes of garments. So basically Samson was saying, like, I got a riddle. I'm gonna put this riddle for, if you could tell me in 7 days what I'm talking about, I'll give you 30 sheets and 30 changes of garments. And I'm gonna give you an offer. Verse 13. But if you cannot declare it me, then shall ye give me 30 sheets and 30 changes of garment. And they said unto him, put forth thy riddles. So when Samson was saying, he said, but if you can't tell me in 7 days, you got to give me 30 sheets and 30 changes of garment. So they was like, okay, put your riddle forth. Tell, like, what the riddle is. What's happening? Verse 14. And he said unto them, out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. And they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. Now, this, what he was saying, Salakia, again, he was referring to when he killed the lion. And he was also referring to when he killed the lion that he was able to get food out of the lion. He got some honey and he ate it and different things of the sort like that. But when he told them, 3 days went past and they could not expound the riddle. They couldn't figure it out. They didn't know what he was talking about. Verse 15, this says, and it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Samson, Samson's wife, entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Ye have called us to take that we have, is it not so? So basically, when they couldn't find out, they went to Samson's wife. Now Samson's heart had inclined unto his wife. She pleased him well. He liked being with her. He loved her. So these guys and his 30 companions went to the Samson's wife and was like, hey man, tell your husband to tell us the, ask your husband about the riddle that he put forth, for we burn you and your fathers up. You and your fathers and your house up, for we burn y'all up, basically. And then they were saying, he said, have you not called us for us to be, so like you're not for us, but have you called us so that we could lose, basically, so that things we have can be taken from us? And he was like, is this not so? He was asking the question. And because of this threat, verse 16, Samson's wife wept before him and said, thou dost hate me and lovest me not. thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it me. And he said, behold, and he said unto her, behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother, and shall I tell it to you? So basically, you like, you don't love me, you ain't telling me nothing. Basically, like when you do stuff, just related to this point, when you do stuff and you don't let a woman know, oh what? You don't want to tell her? That's basically what it was. She wept, and she vexed Samson. But Samson's rebuttal and his response was like, I ain't even told my mom and daddy. I've not even told my parents, so why should I tell you? Verse 7. And she wept before him the 7 days, while the feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. And she told the riddle to the children of her people. See, because Samson was inclined unto his wife, inclined unto these women, he was not being mindful. She vexed him for the 7 days, and he found like, and he told her the riddle, and she went back and told her people. So I brought this account out just to let you know, you gotta be mindful of these women. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You gotta be mindful. You gotta pay attention. Basically, the woman he was with, she betrayed his trust. She betrayed him. He told her, and she went back and told his people. So, I'm going to read verse 18. And then I'm going to go to my next point. It says, and the men of the city said unto him. Verse 17 again, then I'm going to go down. And she wept before him the 7 days, while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him, he told her the riddle. When she laid sore upon him, she told the riddle, Salakia, to the children of her people. So when she vexed Samson, he finally told her, like, and he told her. She ran back and told her people. So she basically betrayed Samson. Continuing. And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day before the sun went down, what is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, if ye had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle. Meaning, if you wouldn't have been talking to my woman and bothering her and heckling her, you wouldn't have found out my riddle. And he called her a heifer. Or why you got that terminology to this day. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't be acting crazy, like, look here, heifer, let me tell you something. You know, that's where that come from. If he said, basically, if you had not been vexing or messing with my woman,